To move fairly sharpish. Okay, so that's a little bit about the faith schools. The top tips. Now, the government have a website, the Department of Education, and there is a huge amount of information on that website. But there was one document I thought was really of interest, and that was the top tips for 2013 applications. What they did here was they looked at all the schools that were successful in September and pulled out what made them successful. And I thought we could use this to our advantage. And what I've done is just pulled out half a dozen points. And the first one, and I think we've heard it today, is that we need to have an inspiring, clear vision that clearly states why we want the school, what its vision is, and what is it, the curriculum, what is it that we're expecting to teach. And how will it add to the local provision? The key is, this is about enriching the education in Leicester, and we have to keep remembering that. It's not to be in competition, but to enrich the provision. And if there is a school such as this, it can add to the other schools, and we need to demonstrate how it can add to the other schools. We've heard the word Leicester as a multicultural society. If we have a school such as this and we keep our partnerships open with the local authority and other schools, it's a great way of not only having something that's a specialist area, but it also contributes to other schools. So that vision is really important. The second is there needs to be an education plan. And that plan has got to have the vision, how the curriculum, what's being taught, is going to be delivered. What's the approach to the teaching? How will this school measure its success? How will it demonstrate that it can improve standards? Because that's the key at the end of the day. You know, if our children are going to make a future, they have to have a very high standard of education. And if we believe this school can do this, we have to demonstrate that through this education plan. The next bit is strong evidence of demand from local parents. And I think Philjeet and Abhijit have sort of said that we've had meetings, and those questionnaires will form that basis of evidence. But at the moment, those questionnaires are part of the evidence. We have to make sure we have a very, very strong base of evidence. The next bit is a commitment of experienced educational professionals. In our community, we have got people from an education background. We need those people to come forward. It's with their background, their knowledge, it needs to contribute to the development of the school. And the other two bits are, obviously, as with any venture, there has to be a strong financial plan. How will this be supported in the short term and the longer term? And then finally, an identified and available, viable site. Where will this school be? And we need to have those areas identified for that application in February. So the point I was making earlier, if we want a school in 2013, just sharing with you those areas shows that we need to act quickly. We need to pool our knowledge, our intelligence of where information is to make that happen. Moving on to the opportunity in Leicester. I just pulled a few things out here. We do a school census, and the school census in January 2011 recorded that there was over 2,000 Punjabi speakers in our Leicester schools. It's probably higher than that. It's just that on the day of the census, those were the children that said they spoke Punjabi. So it shows that we've got a large community within our Leicester schools. The second point is that we know that the population in Leicester is growing, and there is going to be a demand on primary places. And therefore, for us to be looking at a school that caters for primary age children is a good thing, because there is a demand and there's a shortage of spaces, or will be, in the coming years in our primary schools. So in the local authority, they're looking at, can some schools be extended, what's going to be the interest in free schools, so that future plans can be made, and we should take advantage of that. As also it was mentioned, we have a number of children that attend supplementary schools in our Gurdwaras. We should count those, make sure that we have those as evidence, and we should also record the success of those schools, because I know from having looked at some of the data, the number of children that gain GCSEs, A-levels by attending those schools. What is it that we teach to create that kind of success? Let's use that as part of our evidence base. The local authority can support, and can support in a number of ways. The application will need to have recorded within it, how many children are entitled to free school meals. That's quite an important statistic, because if you are able to say that you have this many children who can have free school meals, it releases some budget and finances. So that information is important. How many children have special education needs, etc. So we can provide all that information. The LA can also give advice on data collection, postcode analysis, where families are located. They can also advise on primary, secondary provision, advantages, disadvantages in having a single phase